The annual Thompson family reunion at Grandma's sprawling Victorian mansion always felt more like a competition than a celebration. This year, gathered around the antique dining table that had witnessed 30 years of family drama, I found myself once again under the microscope of familial judgment. Still playing with computers all day? Uncle James's voice carried across the table, deliberately loud enough to draw attention. He adjusted his surgeon's coat, which he hadn't bothered to change out of his usual power move. What is it now, fixing printers? Cousin Michael, the investment banker, snickered into his bourbon. No, she's doing something with, what was it again? Codes. Quantum cryptography, I corrected, keeping my voice level as I checked the secure phone in my lap. The countdown timer showed 3 hours until the announcement. Aunt Sarah, ever the real estate mogul, patted my hand with practiced sympathy. Sweetie, I know a wonderful vocational school. They can train you for something more practical. I bit back a smile, thinking of the sealed documents in my briefcase. The ones with NASA's logo and more zeros than their combined net worth. At least the rest of the family's doing well, Uncle James continued, gesturing around the table. Michael just made junior partner, Emma's medical practice is thriving, and look at David, youngest neurosurgeon in the state. My cousins preened under the praise while I quietly cut my pot roast. The vintage Rolex under my sleeve, worth more than Uncle James's Ferrari, stayed carefully hidden. What exactly do you do all day? Cousin Emma leaned forward, her white coat pristine even at dinner. Besides, typing? Before I could answer, Grandma Rose spoke up from the head of the table. Leave her be. Not everyone can be as successful as you all. The irony almost made me choke on my water. Sweet Grandma Rose, the only one who'd supported my computer hobby through college, was the only one who knew the truth. The wink she gave me went unnoticed by the others. I work on encryption algorithms, I said, knowing it would sail over their heads. Currently focusing on quantum-resistant protocols for aerospace applications. Sounds fancy, Aunt Sarah laughed. But does it pay the bills? My phone vibrated, a message from the project director. Pentagon clearance confirmed. NASA press conference in 2 hours. I manage, I replied, just as the family's massive TV in the adjacent living room, typically reserved for football games, automatically switched channels. Uncle James frowned. Who changed the dash? The breaking news banner cut him off. Major announcement expected from NASA regarding revolutionary quantum security protocol. Oh look, I said mildly, work stuff. Turn it up. Grandma Rose called out, hiding her smile behind her wine glass. The reporter's voice filled both rooms. Sources confirm the largest government technology contract in history will be announced tonight, involving a groundbreaking quantum encryption system developed by a previously unknown tech prodigy. My cousins' phones started buzzing simultaneously, their investment alerts kicking in as rumors hit the market. Michael's face went pale as he read his screen. Speaking of work, I stood, retrieving my briefcase. I should prepare for the press conference. Grandma, would you like to come with me? Your heart medication should be taken with dinner anyway. Press conference? Uncle James sputtered. What press conference? I opened my briefcase, pulling out a NASA security badge with my photo. The one where they announce who's been protecting their quantum communications network for the past 3 years. That's a level 10 security clearance, Michael stuttered, his investment banker expertise kicking in as he recognized the badge's distinctive markings. Those are almost impossible to get. Almost, I agreed, letting them see the holographic quantum signature that marked it as genuine. The same technology I developed in my worthless home lab. The TV continued its broadcast, now showing footage of my laboratory complex. The one I told them was a small office space. The revolutionary encryption system, reportedly developed over 5 years in secret, has already been implemented in major defense and space exploration projects, the reporter announced. Sources value the initial contract at $13.8 billion, with potential extensions reaching. Aunt Sarah's designer glass slipped from her fingers, shattering against the hardwood floor. The sound perfectly punctuated the revelation. But you live in that tiny apartment, Emma protested weakly. You drive a used Honda. I pulled out another document from my briefcase, sliding it across to Uncle James. Actually, I own the building. All 30 floors. The Honda was for appearances, though I should thank you for all those jokes about it. They helped maintain my cover during the development phase. Uncle James's hands trembled as he read the property deed. His surgeon's confidence crumbled as he processed the numbers. The apartment building on Fifth Avenue? Aunt Sarah's real estate instincts kicked in. That's the most expensive residential property in the city. Is it? I feigned surprise. I haven't kept track. Been too busy with my computer hobby. Grandma Rose chuckled, reaching for her medicine cabinet. I told you all years ago, never underestimate the quiet ones. The TV switched to archived footage of space launches. The encryption system has been secretly protecting NASA communications since the Artemis missions, marking a new era in space exploration security. Those missions were 3 years ago, David whispered. You were already running quantum security for NASA while you were all mocking my career choices at last year's reunion? Yes. I checked my phone again. By the way, Michael, you might want to adjust your investment portfolio. You're shorts on tech stocks, particularly the ones you thought were my competitors. They're all my subsidiary companies. Michael lunged for his phone, but the market alerts were already flooding in. His face went from pale to ashen as he calculated his losses. Speaking of investments, I continued, pulling out more documents. Grandma, remember that small tech investment you made when I was in college? The one they all told you was foolish. Grandma Rose's eyes twinkled. The $10,000 from my savings is now worth approximately $247 million. I handed her the portfolio statement. Your faith in my computer games paid off. The dining room erupted in chaos. Aunt Sarah knocked over her chair, rushing to see the statement. Uncle James was frantically Googling my name on his phone. Emma and David were arguing about who had been nicer to me over the years. But all those Christmas dinners, Emma sputtered. You brought store-bought pies and said you couldn't afford better. Those store-bought pies? From my private pastry chef. Cost more than your monthly salary. I stood, straightening my simple blazer to reveal the custom Brioni tailoring. I just repackaged them in grocery store boxes. Keeping up appearances was crucial during the development phase. The TV switched to live footage of NASA headquarters. The press conference will begin in 2 hours, where the mysterious developer of this revolutionary system will be revealed. Grandma. I offered my arm. Your medicine, and then perhaps you'd like to join me? The helicopter's waiting on the back lawn. Helicopter. Uncle James choked. Of course, I smiled. Did you think that new helipad behind the mansion was for decoration? I had it installed last month. A little gift for Grandma. The distant sound of rotor blades confirmed my words, growing louder as my private helicopter approached. But first, I turned to face my shell-shocked family. Perhaps we should discuss how those technology jokes aged. I've been keeping a list right here in my quantum-encrypted database. The massive TV screen flickered, now displaying years of their mocking comments, each dated and categorized. Their faces reflected in the screen, showing the exact moment they realized how completely they'd underestimated the computer nerd of the family. The chaos in the dining room followed us to the mansion's back lawn, where my matte black Airbus H-160 touched down with elegant precision. The downwash from its rotors sent Uncle James's carefully styled hair into disarray as he stumbled after us. Wait, he called over the engine noise. We should talk about this. As a family. I helped Grandma Rose into the helicopter's luxurious cabin, making sure she was comfortable in one of the hand-stitched leather seats. The interior, with its mahogany panels and state-of-the-art communications suite, was a far cry from the budget lifestyle they'd mocked for years. Tau's not a good time, I replied, checking my quantum-secured tablet. The Joint Chiefs are waiting for their briefing before the press conference. The Joint Chiefs. David pushed forward. Of staff. No, of my neighborhood book club, I deadpanned. Yes, of staff. Turns out quantum encryption is quite important when you're protecting national security secrets. Through the helicopter's tinted windows, I could see Cousin Emma frantically typing on her phone. The screen of my tablet lit up with incoming notifications. Trying to look me up on LinkedIn, Emma? I called out. Try the classified defense databases instead. Oh wait. I smiled. You can't. They're protected by my encryption. Michael, still pale from his investment disaster, clutched a stack of financial papers. The subsidiary companies, the shell corporations, you planned this for years. 5 years, 3 months and 14 days, I confirmed, settling into my seat. About the same time you told Grandma she was throwing away her savings by investing in my startup. The tablet displayed a real-time chart of Michael's investment losses as my company's true ownership was revealed to the market. The numbers were enough to make any investment banker need a drink. Speaking of investments, Grandma Rose pulled out her reading glasses to examine the portfolio statement I'd given her. I believe this calls for a celebration. Shall we open that bottle of Chateau Lafite Rothschild 1869 you gave me last Christmas? The wine in the plastic grocery bag? Aunt Sarah's voice rose an octave. The one you said was a cheap knockoff? Worth about $230,000 per bottle. I nodded. I have a small collection. Well, small compared to my quantum computer array. The helicopter pilot, a former Air Force Special Operations commander, turned in his seat. Ma'am, NASA's requesting preliminary security protocols for the Mars communication systems. Mars. Uncle James grabbed the helicopter's door frame. What Mars systems? I pulled up a holographic display, filling the cabin with 3D projections of spacecraft schematics. Did you think I was just playing games when I disappeared into my lab for months? The Mars Colonial Project needs quantum-secure communications. Can't have aliens hacking our space emails, can we? The sarcasm wasn't lost on them. How many times had they joked about me playing Space Invaders, when I was actually developing interplanetary security protocols? But you borrowed money from me last year. David protested. For computer parts. No, you offered money unsolicited with plenty of condescending advice, I corrected him. I donated it to a STEM scholarship fund for underprivileged kids. Under your name, actually. Congratulations, you're now a major educational benefactor. The TV visible through the mansion's windows switched to a special report. My corporate logo, the one they dismissed as amateur graphic design, filled the screen as stock prices soared. The quantum security revolution, the announcer's voice carried across the lawn, led by the most secretive tech genius since Steve Jobs. Secretive? Aunt Sarah scoffed weakly. You live next door. In one of my homes, I corrected her. The others are a bit more substantial. The NASA press conference room hummed with anticipation. Hundreds of journalists, tech analysts, and government officials filled every seat, their devices ready to broadcast what the Pentagon had called a paradigm shift in national security. I stood backstage with Grandma Rose, watching my shell-shocked family being escorted to their reserved front-row seats, a calculated decision on my part. Let them witness this from the best view in the house. Your grandfather would have been so proud. Grandma Rose squeezed my hand, her eyes misty. He always said you'd change the world. That's why I named the core algorithm after him, I revealed, showing her the code structure on my quantum tablet. The Thompson Protocol. It's already being called the most significant advancement in cryptography since World War II. The NASA director approached, flanked by military officers and Silicon Valley CEOs. They're ready for you, Ms. Thompson. I straightened my blazer, now revealed to be a Tom Ford original, and checked my reflection. Gone was the deliberately understated look I'd maintained for years. This was my moment to emerge from the shadows. Remember when Uncle James said I'd never make it to space camp? I smiled at Grandma. Wait until he sees the lunar base plans. The announcement began with a video presentation. The massive screens showed my technology in action. Protecting military satellites, securing interplanetary communications, revolutionizing quantum computing. Each achievement carefully hidden until this moment. In the front row, I watched my family's expressions shift from shock to awe to dawning comprehension. Michael clutched his investment papers, no doubt calculating the billions he'd missed out on by dismissing my hobby. Ladies and gentlemen, the NASA director began, today we reveal the architect of humanity's secure digital future. The creator of the Thompson Protocol, whose quantum encryption system has already prevented 17 major cyber attacks on our space infrastructure. Emma dropped her phone. David stopped pretending to read medical journals on his tablet. Aunt Sarah finally closed her mouth. I walked on stage to a standing ovation. Everyone but my family. Behind me, screens revealed my global empire. Quantum labs, satellites, and research centers hidden in plain sight. The shabby office they mocked was one of them. The Thompson protocol isn't just encryption, I said. It's about seeing potential where others see limits. Tech billionaires nodded. Grandma Rose beamed. Later, I told Uncle James his hospital's software was now upgraded, free. My family began to realize the computer nerd had outshone them all. As I left with Grandma for my Swiss quantum lab, Aunt Sarah asked about Sunday dinner. Can't, I smiled. Presidential Medal of Freedom. The helicopter lifted off, leaving them in the wake of my success.